What's going on, everyone? So, let's talk about this investing in some dividend stocks today. So, I'm looking into buying some more dividend paying stocks to diversify my portfolio. Now, right now, AI is a big topic, so I want to look at some AI stocks just so I can diversify some in AI. Now, what are my requirements for my dividend paying stock and why am I buying dividend paying stocks? So, if you didn't know, I'm considered lean fire and I can retire and enjoy my life, but I have young kids and I kind of want to get to fat fire. So I'm a millionaire and I just want to figure out how to build up my passive income. And one of the ways to build up passive income is to buy dividend paying stocks where they pay you to own the stock. So if we go into the detail about this, what's my requirement is number one is in my dividend portfolio. So guess what? It has to pay dividend. Number two, it has to be financially secure. And number three, it has to be good growth stock. Just because I want to use it as in the future doesn't mean I want it to barely have any growth. Now, what is a dividend paying stock? A dividend paying stock is a stock that pays you out of its portfolio and it gives you a portion of the income that it takes in. So let's look at this company before we move forward. The company I'm looking at is a Equinix, and they're a stock that deals with, guess what, AI and data center. So they're more into the commercial real estate side, and they have a bunch of partnership with AWS, a Cisco, Dell Technology. So they rent out space to them. So will I go into investing in this company? They seem to like have a bunch of good partnerships with a bunch of big companies, and they help build data centers. So it's a good one to get into if you're thinking about, hey, what's the world infrastructure and will they be required? So I believe they're gonna have to build more infrastructure to help with AI, just because AI takes a lot of data, and I also want to say that it's a REIT that deals with AI. So it's a very tough situation to be in. So let's go into this company, Equinix. They pay a dividend of 1.87%, which, hey, it's a REIT, but it's dealing with AI, and their growth for year to date is a negative 3%. The 1 year is 7.9%, which, if you add it with the dividend for the 1 year, it's about a 9.5% growth in 1 year. A 3 year, it has a 30% gain, and a 5 years has a 54.93%. Now, if we look at the information on the hey, how much money they're making, they look like they grow about zero point 0.5 billion a year from 2016, which is a pretty good growth rate. Now, the issue I have is their growth margin is at 48%, which is a really good growth margin, but their net profit is 11.83%. So, the issue I have with REITs is that you don't get to control the money where they get invested in. And two, you don't know in the management style who's getting paid and how much they're getting paid. Because it looks like some years they almost didn't make any profit because they have a 3%, 1%, a 6%, 7%, which concerns me if I'm trying to do dividend. Now, they do have a good, you know, a good profit margin, so it's not like they don't make money. Now, they're a REIT company, so they more into the commercial side where they build the commercial site for AI infrastructure. Now, let's look what they did internally. So it looks like all the executive pretty much sells their the shares. So if you have everyone selling the shares, it's not really a big concern. for me, but it also does make it a little harder to increase the value of the company if they're selling every quarter, 2 million, let's say 3, 4 million, 5 million, so 10 million, 12 million, 13 million, 16, 7, about 17 million a quarter of stocks they sell. So if the company's selling, the executive selling 17 million, it really makes it hard to grow the valuation. So I'm gonna nix it in the growth just because it's just too much to overcome whenever all the executives selling every quarter 17 million and no one's holding that stock to help it to increase in value. Now, you have to remember the value of a company is based off of the income and what people's willing to pay for it. So if the executives are all selling, you don't have anyone holding on to the stock. So there's an excess of stock. And guess what? You're going to end up having a hard time with the growth. So, what is my personal opinion on this stock? I looked at the numbers. The AI is 3 out of 6 all across the board. And will I add this to my portfolio? Because that's the big thing. Is this stock worth adding to my portfolio? Because it has a 1 year growth of 7.9% and a 3 year growth of 30. So if we just say it has 10% growth every year, it's not wrong, but it's not right either. And it is an AI and they're building it more in the future for the infrastructure. So what is my personal opinion about Equinix Inc. or ticker symbol EQIX? Well, I will not be adding this to my portfolio for one, just because it doesn't meet my good growth phase. It looks like a half average growth. Now, they do meet my first requirement where it pays a dividend of 1.87%. So it pays a dividend every year or every quarter. So it does meet that. It does have good financial standing. Not the best, about average in the industry, but it has a good finance behind it. It just, number 3, doesn't meet the good growth phase. Now, some of the concerns I have with this company is once they build some of these data centers, how many more data centers are they going to have? So it looks like, for personal experience, they're going to eventually cap out. So once they cap out, what are they going to do? Because it is a REIT, it's in commercial, and it might take 5 years, 10 years to max out, but with technology and how fast it booms, personally, I don't know what they're going to do. It just makes no sense for me to put in money into a company if I don't think they're going to be around for next 10, 20 years. I think the data centers will be there, but eventually you don't know if they're going to sit there and buy out their own data center to save money. So it could be a lot of things that can happen in the next few years. And being a company just to rent out the properties to these data centers doesn't really make them an AI company. They are in the AI industry. And it just doesn't make sense to add to my portfolio. Now, who should add this? If you're looking for a REIT company that will have a nice stable growth, a good 10% a year, this is a company for you. And you will be able to survive and get paid dividend year over year. So if you're someone in retirement, this be a pretty good stock with low risk to it. It's just that I would want to take more risk personally for my side. So that's all I got for you on this one. I won't be investing in it, but if you're looking for a company that's a nice stable company and you want them to be a safe bet, this is a good company to have in your portfolio if you want to get paid a dividend and don't want to take too much of risk and get about a 10% growth a year. Alright, like to scratch my video. That's all I got for you.